Thank you for tuning in this evening. And obviously, this is going to be very informal and casual. You're just in our home, and we were literally just getting Brandon to bed, so we're kind of laughing about some stuff going on there. And
sorry, guys, I'm going to pull it together right now.
Yeah, it's good. But anyway, welcome to our home for Silver Camp #1. Again, this is just a way, we've done this before, it's a way for us to reach more of you and on a very just informal, casual basis and try to train people in the very basics of how to get their Advocare business kind of kick-started and rolling. So, our goal through this process is to give you guys action items that you can use in order to grow a business. So, obviously we know that everybody that's tuned in here now is interested in exploring this from a business opportunity perspective. So we're going to come to you from that angle, and we want to make sure that you guys take some action items away from this also, just because, training without action is just information. And, we could just simply pour information into the Facebook group and you guys could read it and move on with life. But we want to try to reach out to you, kind of help explain why we do things a certain way and what certain action steps you guys can take in order to grow a silver business. And for those of you that might be so brand new, you don't even understand what silver looks like, silver is our entry level of leadership bonus. And probably in class 2 or 3, we're going to get into the compensation structure a little bit more and talk about what exactly silver looks like. But on average, it's a little over $1,000 a month. Okay, so that's a great place for people to start that are interested in earning income. And obviously, if you can make 1,000, you can make even more. And it is literally just the first step. It's the first building block to building a larger organization. So do you want to take just a minute and kind of introduce us real quickly from a background standpoint and maybe explain kind of our lineage as well?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to do that. Okay, so for those of you who don't know us or have not met us yet, as we said, we're Ryan and Rebecca Hinton. We live in Brentwood, Tennessee. We were introduced to Advocare almost exactly 3 years ago. And I own a small group fitness business where we offer classes, and I've been doing that for a little over 5 years. But 3 years ago, I heard about Advocare through my friend Brooks Reed. She was on a weight loss journey and shared with me that she and her husband were going to do the 24-day challenge and asked me to hold her accountable. And I watched her feeling great. She went from a size 12 to a size 6 in 24 days, and that got my attention. It also got the attention of a lot of the other people who were in my fitness classes. And they were asking me, what is she doing? Is it legal? And how do we get it? But what I saw for me was that she had tons of energy and she was on time and she was in a great mood. And that was something that I was trying to figure out how to be. I was really putting a lot of demands on my body at the time with the number of classes I was teaching. And I needed to do something from an energy standpoint. And I decided that the 24-day challenge might be something that could help me. I really wasn't looking at it from a business standpoint. I felt like we had more on our plate than we could handle as it was at that time. We were very busy. Really we didn't need extra finances, honestly. Ryan had a great job as a vice president of human resources for a large corporation. My business was doing very, very well. And, finances were not an issue. What was an issue was time. We had no time. We were struggling within our own four walls with our marriage, with parenting, and we needed to do something to just allow us to have more quality time. And when I saw what people were doing with Advocare, I saw that it could be an answer for us. And I began to pursue the business. A lot of people wanted to know what my friend Brooks was doing. They wanted to know why I was leaning out and toning up so quickly, why I looked like I was feeling so much better. And I was very excited to share with them what I found. And we've honestly never earned less than $1,000 a month in Advocare. We reached the diamond level in 18 months. And, that's something that allowed us to have tremendous freedom to make some decisions in our lives about where our time was going to be spent. And one of the decisions we made almost 2 years ago was for Ryan to come home and pursue this business full time. So we've been full-time parents, part-time Advocare ever since. And really our role now is to teach and train and mentor other people who have an interest in pursuing this opportunity on some level. And really our passion, our hearts are to lock arms with people who want to really have the same kind of freedom that we have today. And we really believe that we can change so many things about families and really even kind of the fabric of our country through the power of this opportunity.
Yeah, awesome. You want to talk about our upline a little bit?
Yeah,
So they all
so
know their upline too.
absolutely. So when we talk about your lineage, we're talking about kind of your upline. Who are the leaders that are part of your leadership team? And Ryan and I are your diamond leaders. If you're on this training tonight, my friend Brooks Reed, who shared Advocare with us, is our diamond leader. We actually achieved and pinned the diamond level at the same time as our sponsors. I think that might have been the first. We might have been the first ones in Advocare to actually do that. Her sponsor is Platinum Leaders, the Platinum Leaders, Jason and Angela Pinnell, and they are out of Franklin, Tennessee. So I'm leaving off incomes here. I think that might be where you were going to have me insert those. But Ryan and I, on average, earn $30,000 to $40,000 a month right now in Advocare. Our sponsors, Brooks and Chris Reed, who are also diamond distributors, they're earning on average, I believe, $40,000 to $50,000 a month in Advocare. Their direct sponsors, Jason and Angela Pinnell, who are platinum leaders, earn an average of $60,000 to $70,000 a month in Advocare. And they were sponsored or brought into this business by platinum leader Crystal Thurber. And she, I haven't heard a January or recent income for her, but I believe she earns around $90,000 a month in this business. And she's been involved, I believe, for about 8 years.
Yeah.
Yes. Jason and Angela have been involved for about 5 years. And Brooks and Chris became involved about a month before we did. So that's kind of the history of your Advocare family and who's led to you getting involved possibly.
Yeah, well, and I think it's important to mention too. I mean, the reality is those numbers are very overwhelming. Okay, I mean those numbers are almost hard to say, and a lot of the incomes that people are earning in Advocare right now, they blow a lot of people away. But it's important to remember that the vast majority of our team, and I will say this too, not everybody decides to walk away from their Plan A job and have the kind of freedom and flexibility we have and pursue this full time. And we get that, we understand that, we appreciate that, we respect that. There are a lot of people on our team that are truly looking to earn $200 a month, just for gas money, or $300 a month for groceries, or $500, $1,000 a month to help pay their mortgage and to cover miscellaneous expenses. So everybody has a purpose, a fit, and that's what we want to try to find. And I think it's also important to mention that Rebecca talked about what we're doing, and our sponsors Brooks and Chris, and then their sponsors Jason and Angela and Crystal Thurber. The reality is none of us are doing anything really wild and unique and crazy or special. We've just truly committed to doing Advocare and to helping as many people as possible, and that's what's led us to have the kind of financial freedom that we have today. The business itself is exploding, okay? And, again, it's not like, I love the fact that we can talk about what we're doing from a business standpoint, but yet there's people 10 minutes away from us right now that are doing even better. And I think that's awesome. I really do. And that's just a sign that Advocare is growing so rapidly. And, I know some of you on the webinar right now have a business background too. And, where my mind goes is I just look at, our history over the past 4 or 5 years and how we've grown so rapidly. And, I was telling a group this weekend at a Saturday training that 7 years ago, we were a $73 million business. That's $73 million annually, okay? In the month of January 2014, we hit 77 million. So Advocare is doing now more in a month than we used to do in an entire year, okay? So that's one amazing statistic. Go back 7 years ago again, we used to have 43 new distributors throughout all of Advocare per day. All right. A couple of weeks ago, we nearly had 2,000 distributors join Advocare in one single day. So that's just crazy. And even on our business, on our team alone, last two pay periods, we've had close to 200 new members join our team, 200 new distributors, and 30 new business advisors. And again, that's quite honestly just because we're open for business. And that's a lot of what we're going to talk about over the next 3 weeks is how are you open for business and what does that look like? Mm-hmm. So, from our perspective, and I'm going to use some examples as we go through this, kind of relevant real-time examples that are happening right now. But when somebody comes to me and they say, hey, I want to earn $500, I want to earn $1,000, what does that look like? Well, step one for anybody who's working with me is what I'm going to tell them is you've got to get to the business advisor level as soon as possible. And I know a lot of you on this call are already there, but there's a training in how we talk about these things and how you present this opportunity to people. And Rebecca was sharing our story with you. I mean, there's a whole training there, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. But, step one, getting to advisor, what does that look like? A lot of people, well, I should say what we did, and a lot of people that we talk to go there immediately. They jump to the advisor level right off the bat. It's a $2,100 investment for $3,000 worth of products. And it's important that people understand that. It's not an entry fee. It's not a franchise fee. It's not just a flat $2,100 check that you write and you turn over to Advocare. You're actually purchasing $3,000 worth of products. Mm-hmm. So obviously, it doesn't take a math genius to figure out that there's a $900 difference there. A lot of people on our team, a lot of our advisors, they look at that as $900 of savings because they know they're going to use products over the course of the next year. There's also a lot of people that look at that as a $900 profit, because they know if they turn right around and they sell all those products, they get a group challenge going, they literally just made $900, okay? And at that point in time, you have a debt-free business because, and this is important to mention, we mention this to every single person who is either looking at becoming a new distributor or looking at becoming a new advisor, that there's no continuing obligation, okay? And that's important to note. If you're taking notes, and I hope you are, write that down because that's something you're going to want to mention to people. Because a lot of times people hear the word distributor and they start to get nervous. Mm-hmm. They think there's a catch. There's something that they're going to have to do. They're going to get roped into something that's going to cause them to lose money, over the course of the next few months or the next year. I always try to put people at ease by saying there's no minimums, there's no quotas, there's no auto shipments. You never have to purchase products. People on our team purchase products because they want to. And I would say a good 30, 40, 45% of our members, distributors, purchase products on a monthly basis because they want to. It's a consumable product. The products work. They love them. People want to keep using them, and they continue to purchase them. And so that's why they get that wholesale discount, anywhere from 20 to 40%. So that's one of the things we always present to people when they're looking at advisor or membership levels. And then quite honestly, the other thing that I tell people if they're looking at the advisor purchase or status is that one of three things are going to happen. And this goes back to our story too. Rebecca kind of left this out, but I was very, I'll just say skeptical. I fought this process for the first year. I love their products. I wanted to use them. I wanted to keep using them. And it's kind of funny. We even had the conversation. One of our first goals was if Rebecca could share just enough products to basically pay for our product usage, we'd be thrilled, okay? And it obviously has grown a lot more since then. But when we were looking at placing that order, we placed it right off the bat. And this is with me saying, hey, I don't want us involved in the business. But when I looked at the advisor order, I realized one of three things were going to happen. And I share this with most people that I talk to. Because one of three things are going to happen when somebody places that order. First, they're going to use their products as cheap as possible. And even if somebody is just looking at a 24-day challenge order, I still tell them about advisor status because that's how they can get the products at 30% off right off the bat, and they've got 40% off moving forward. So that is the cheapest way for people to use products. Two, if they do share it with people, this is how they maximize their profits. Because if they share at retail, they're going to make 30 to 40%. And if they get other wholesale customers, they're going to start to make residual income. And you only make residual income when you're at the advisor level. And then the third thing that I tell people is, and this is huge, it's absolutely huge, Advocare gives us an entire year to get our money back. So you can use the products as cheap as possible. you maximize your profits, and you got an entire year to decide if you want to get your money back. So, a month into this, 3 months into this, 6 months into this, if somebody's not happy, they can return their products, get their money back, and then they've used the products as cheap as they can. Maybe they've made a little bit of money, and they can return the rest of it. So people are not going to lose money, why we say this is a relationship business, because you've got to have a close relationship with somebody in order to describe that to them and have them truly listen to you, and in order for them to understand that. So, that's why we say that advisor status is so important, because it opens up the residual income and allows people to maximize their profits right off the bat. The reality is, somebody can make probably a few $100s a month, a couple $100s a month as a 20% distributor, but to make $500 a month or more consistently over time, you've got to be at that advisor level, okay? So that's one of the reasons why we talk about that so much, and why, again, when somebody comes to me and they say, hey, I want to make $500 or I want to make $1,000 right off the bat, we talk about the advisor purchase and why that makes sense to them. Now, if they can't do that all at once, and we certainly tell them that because that's the most cost-effective way for them to do it, they can do it over a 3 pay period basis, okay? And we can map that out for people, but what that boils down to is they have to do $500 of retail volume every period for 3 consecutive periods. But over those 3 periods, it's got to add up to $3,000. So it could go 500, 500, 2,000. It could go 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. Or somebody could do a $1,500 order this period and do a $1,500 order next period, and that totals $3,000. So they're an advisor after only 2 pay periods. Now that does cost them a little bit more money because they're purchasing products at a lower discount level and they're paying for more than 1 shipping. So it is a little bit more expensive. And just from my perspective, when I was talking to Jason Fennell about this order, I understood that we could spread this out over 6 weeks if we wanted to. It was only 6 weeks. So it wasn't like it was buying us 6 months at a time. So we just decided to do it as cheap as we could and do it all at once.
Right. Well, and many of you who have chosen to participate in Silver Camp are already at the advisor level. So you might be saying, why are they spending so much time talking to us about the advisor level? We've already made that decision. Well, we want you to understand that once you've made that decision, that helping other people get to the advisor level is what's going to help you get to the first level of leadership, which is silver, and then on to the other levels of leadership, gold, ruby, and on up. So being able to see the value of advisor, which you've already done for yourself, is also important in being able to relay that and using the success system to do that. You personally are probably not going to be having that conversation right now with the people in your life that you're sharing AdvoCare with, but we want you to know that what was best for you when you were getting involved, and most of you have already chosen to get to advisor, is also what's best for them, and that's also what's best for your business. So, the beautiful thing about this compensation plan is that it is a pay-it-forward business, okay? The same opportunity that was offered for you is the same opportunity that you want to offer the people that you're talking to. Okay, so, know that we realize that most of you are already there. We get that. That's wonderful. But know that that's he who has the most advisors in this business ultimately wins. And, Ryan and I are very good at helping people see how advisor adds value to their relationship, regardless of whether their intention is to just be a happy product user or whether it's to earn some casual income, maybe a couple $100s a month, or maybe they want to do something more significant with this. Maybe they have a bigger vision for what this could be for their family. So advisor is, our job is to help people get from, a prospect to a distributor, having that initial wholesale discount, to ultimately an advisor. So that's just a huge part of what we do. And I want to back up a little bit from when I was sharing, the leadership in your lineage and where, kind of where we've come from. You come from a family in AdvoCare that's known for moving very quickly. And, one thing that's very true as your business unfolds is this concept of duplication, okay? The speed of the leader equals the speed of the pack most times in AdvoCare. So if you want to move with speed, You need to help other people see the value of advisor quickly. And that's, if you see it quickly, then they're very likely to see it quickly. And it's going to play out that way throughout your business. You get to determine the pace, honestly. And there might be someone who comes along that you share Advocare with who wants to move faster than you. But most of the time, people are going to duplicate what you do. And that's why how you initially engage, in the early parts of your journey, why we stress to those who do see the business or even, kind of hint at seeing the business, why it's so important to go ahead and make that decision, because it is going to impact their business as things unfold.
The other thing that's important to tap on there too is we were talking about our lineage. Rebecca and I we came into this a little bit different. We were on fairly stable financial ground to begin with, and we were able to make that advisor order right off the bat. There are a lot of people that quite honestly can't afford to do that easily. But what I want to point out about our lineage is Brooks and Chris Reed, our sponsors that are making $50,000 a month right now, they were up to their eyeballs in debt. Okay, so they did not have $2,100 on their coffee table, that they could just use to place this order. But they found it. They found room on, I don't know how they did it, but they scraped it together because they saw the opportunity. And it was because their sponsors, Jason and Angela Pinnell, told them the benefits of getting to advisor immediately, making that happen, and what that could do for Brooks and Chris's business if that's what they did. And they believed Jason and Angela, they trusted them, they put them to work, and it's obviously paid huge dividends for them. And then the same with Jason and Angela Pinnell. They'll even tell you right now they could not afford a box of Spark. They scraped together, they were working 5 jobs, they scraped together 2 or 3 paychecks, they found some extra room on a couple of credit cards, and they placed the advisor order immediately. And we have people do that because they trust us, and they know if they put us to work that we're going to recoup that $2,100 for them as quick as possible. So, and that's the quickest way to do that is to be at that advisor level. So anyway, I think we've hit that. The second thing that I want to talk about is when somebody comes to us, and I'm going to use a current example right now, a guy by the name of Chris Mason. Some of you heard him talk on Thursday night. Chris is a local police department officer here in Nashville, came to us, was working a ton of overtime, was working around the clock a couple of nights a week, and he said, all right, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to earn enough money that I don't have to work overtime? So I said, 1, get to advisor. Chris got there right off the bat. He listened to us. I explained how it was a no-risk investment, how he had nothing to lose and everything to gain, and he did that. So he got to advisor. He's like, all right, Ryan, what's step 2? Okay, that's the rookie bonus. You want to go after a rookie bonus. So some of you that are brand new advisors right now, you're like, all right, I'm there, I'm ready to go. I know how to talk about advisor now. I know how to share that with people, so what do? Let's go for a rookie bonus, all right? And what that rookie bonus looks like is that's you, and then that's 3 other people. Okay, so you immediately want to start saying, all right, who do I know? Who could benefit from this? Who can I introduce to my sponsor or the success system, and start getting those people involved and engaged and using products and feeling good. All right, when you get 3 people to do that and you accumulate $3,000 worth of volume, you are going to earn a $500 rookie bonus. Okay, so you're not competing against anybody else. You're not competing against everybody else that just signed up last month or last period or all month of January. It's you. You do it, you earn it. We should probably say, by the way, we are not drinking coffee. I'm watching us on the screen here. That's right. We both have a hot, warm cup of Oasis on a cold February night, and you can tell I'm wearing my fleece, okay, inside our house, so we like it cool.
Yes.
But we're drinking warm Oasis. I just see us on the screen, and we're throwing back these cups. It looks like we're drinking a hot cup of coffee. We're not. So anyway, so you want to get to that rookie bonus level, all right? And when you do that, the nice thing about that is, and you guys can see this on the screen here, I mean, this is you. I mean, literally, this is all it is 3 different people. You get 3 different distributors. They don't have to be advisors yet, but you get 3 different distributors, and you get enough volume from all your distributors with a minimum of 1, 2, 3. That's $500 right there. 3,000. That's $500 right there, all right? And the nice thing is, I mean, not only are you going to earn this $500, but you're earning money throughout this whole process. You're making wholesale commissions here. And again, we're going to explain the compensation structure later in other classes, but you're earning income as you go through. Advocare is actually estimating that when people earn this $500 rookie bonus over the course of 3 pay periods, that they're going to earn somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,500. Based off the commissions that are going to be a part of that. Now, obviously, that's going to vary just depending upon, how many customers you get, what they end up doing, et cetera. But over the course of a 6-week period, if you earn a rookie bonus, you're probably going to earn in the neighborhood of $1,500. Some of our examples, I was just talking about Chris Mason. He earned over $2,000, and he earned this rookie bonus in his first 2 weeks as a fully qualified advisor. All right, that $2,000 also got him out of 4 months of overtime. So that's a couple of extra nights a week now that Chris is able to be home with his family, be home with his 2 boys, be home with his wife, Mandy, and in order to just enjoy their time. And so he's actually reaping kind of like the freedom benefits of this already also.
Awesome. Just know, guys, like I've seen a few things happen in the reports. That the $3,000 in retail volume must come from distributors. Okay, if you're retailing products after you become an advisor, those will not count towards the $3,000, and also your personal orders after you become an advisor will not count towards the $3,000. Has to come from people who sign up. It could be one person who becomes an advisor is all of the volume, and then you have 2 other people who become distributors. Just sign up for the $79. That triggers the system to cut you a check for the $500 bonus on top of the paycheck that you just earned. So if you have questions about that, let us know. If you're not new, I know several of you that are tuning in have been advisors for a little while. Know that helping your new teammates, your new advisors on your team earn that $500 rookie bonus is going to help you grow your business as well. So that's why we've been making it such a huge focal point, is that as soon as the new pay period starts, that those new advisors are ready to go. We're talking to them. We're saying who that you're thinking about that we can talk to about this opportunity to help them earn those bonuses.
All right, I'm going to. I kind of like to have a structure to what we train on, and whether that be if we're on stage. Or if we're doing something like this. And, I tend to think in terms of, all right, let's start very wide and big, and we're going to get more narrow and specific and granular as we move through this training program. And we talked about what are the first 2 things you need to do. We talked about how to talk about advisor. We talked about step 2, going after a rookie bonus. Now let's talk a little bit. I want to kind of talk about what does our success system look like? What does this flow look like? And what I want to emphasize here with everybody is, slide us a little bit closer so you can see it, is this is not a complicated business. All right, there's no big secrets here. It's not very complicated. As a matter of fact, it's very easy. People just have to do it. And when we boil it down into very simple terms, you'll see that. And everything that we're going to train on over the course of the next 3 weeks really boils down to just a couple of steps. And literally, if somebody is not happy with where their business is right now or where it's going, we're going to ask them 2 very simple questions. And that's kind of what I'm just kind of calling the success flow chart here. You've got you right here, okay, which can be any distributor. And then the very first question, and back in the working world when I used to have to make flow charts, we kind of used a diamond, to when we ask ourselves questions. If you're laughing at me already.
So far from how I think, you guys.
That's what makes this great. You can think different ways, okay? But in my head, this is how I visualize things. And Rebecca's going to do the technical training, so I won't bore you to death with this stuff. But literally, the first question we're going to ask you is, are you sharing with people? That's what this boils down to, okay? People are our fuel. And if somebody's not happy with where their business is right now, the very first thing we're going to ask you is are you sharing with people? Did you share with somebody today? How many people have you shared with in the last 3 days, in the last week? Because quite honestly, if your answer to this is no, if you're not sharing with people, coming off the side, I mean, what are you going to do? You're just going to go back up here to the loop. You're not going to work your way to success if the answer to that is no. It's going to kind of shoot you out to the side. But let's say you are sharing with people. So let's say your answer is yes. All right, and now we come down here to another decision point. And the decision point down here is, are you using them? And there's probably some of you right now who are saying, all right, what's the success system? Don't worry, that's obviously a training topic. But if you're sharing this with people, so you are, say you talked to somebody today, you talked to somebody yesterday, you bumped into somebody at the basketball game the other day. So you are sharing this with people. So the next question we're going to ask you is how are you plugging them into the success system? Are you using the success system? And if your answer to that is, well, no, I talked to them in the bleachers for about 15 minutes and then they decided not to do something, or, I'm going to try to get them on a phone call with you, but I just haven't done it yet. Well, guess what, guys? 90% of the time when you do that, and if you answer no to this too, it's going to kind of kick you out to the side. And what that's going to do, it's going to just throw you back up here. And you're just going to keep looping. You're going to keep struggling. You're going to be frustrated, all right? And we don't want that. We want you to continue working to success. So if you answer yes to this too, that is going to throw you down here to where you get down to success, all right? This is all this business boils down to. It really is a very simple two-step business. One, are you sharing with people? And two, are you using the success system? And if you do that and you do it consistently over time, you will have success in this business. I guarantee it. But you have to follow each of those two steps. So everything that we're going to train on for the next probably 15, 20 minutes tonight, and then the next two sessions are different parts of this, okay? So let's kind of take the first part of this with, are you sharing with people? And let's talk about who are you going to share with? And I think you're going to take that, right, from a list?
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to use this?
I will, yeah. That was actually really good. That's that's why it is great. You get both of us. I never thought about it that way, but
there you go.
I just got a little training nugget here. Okay, so now we've talked about advisor. You've gotten to advisor. If you haven't gotten to advisor and you want to mentor or one of us about that when this training is over, let us know and we can do that.
This is my other job. Not only do I create flow charts, but I clean whiteboards.
Awesome. Okay.
I'm going to slide that forward a little bit.
Yeah, that's great. There's a little glare on it too, I saw. See if we can get it out of the glare.
You want to be on the other side?
Right. Yeah. It's still on there, but that's okay.
See, this is the beauty of live TV.
Okay.
Coming from your home.
All right, so step one, we talked about advisor. Step two is a list. Okay, so your list is really who are you thinking about, and there are going to be different people that you think about for different reasons. Okay, and the first little graphic that I like to use is a circle. Okay, who are your 3 people that you would call in the middle of the night if you were stranded? Okay, think about the people who are just generally there for you, the most supportive people in your life, and start there. Okay, start with people who just, they love you, they're gonna, kind of be in your corner regardless of whether or not this is something that they really see. But you want to just start with people that you have influence with. Okay, so I call these your circles of influence. These are going to be call them at 3 o'clock in the morning people. Okay, and then working your way out here, these are going to be your friends. All right. Maybe you wouldn't call them at 3 o'clock in the morning, but you know them pretty well. You would certainly pick up the phone and call them. Okay, and then you're going to have your acquaintances. Okay, out here, people that you don't maybe know quite as well. And then, way out here, you're going to have people that you just have chance encounters with. Okay, but really, your circles of influence are your success rate. Can be determined by the amount of influence that you have with that person. If you're thinking, okay, I don't really know, who I have influence with. I heard a training one time where the person said, go back to the time in your life when you felt like you had a lot of influence and think about the people that you knew at that time. Maybe that was in high school. Maybe you had a lot of influence when people who went to high school with you voted you most likely to succeed. Maybe they remember you as, someone who is going to be very successful in life. Whatever that looks like for you, but I just want to give you this mental picture. The next thing that we usually have as a go-to when we're telling people, think about who you know, because you really do know, a lot of people, okay? Throughout your life, you have had relationships with a lot of people, and this is truly a relationship business. This is going to be shared with people that generally with people that you know. When I look at our entire business, I can't think of one person that has come in as a result of a chance encounter or a random meeting. It's mainly been people that either Ryan or I have some type of relationship with at some point during our lives. But we want you to think about people in categories, okay? And I generally say there are 4 categories. All right. I hope we're going to be able to read these through the camera work here. My first category and my default category, you guys, is energy. Okay? Who doesn't need more energy? I can already see that that's too small and you can't read it. But you're taking your notes, so you know what I'm doing here. Energy is pretty much anybody. If you can't put them in another bucket, you can put them in the energy bucket. Maybe they're working overtime till 4 a.m. Maybe they're keeping up with 3 kids. Maybe they're teaching a lot of fitness classes and they're exhausted. Those are the people on my energy list. Other fitness instructors that I knew that were doing the exact same thing that I was doing, and there was a pretty high probability that they felt the exact same way that I did. Pretty much anybody is looking for more energy, which is why there's a Starbucks on every corner. Okay. The next category is going to be, we're going to call it weight loss. Okay. Who do you know that's been struggling with their weight? Maybe they've been on and off with Weight Watchers. Maybe they're always trying to lose 10 pounds. Maybe they've had a lifelong struggle with their weight. Those are going to be people that you're going to have in a bucket. All right. Another category here is going to be income. Who do you know that might be looking for a way to supplement their income? Either a little or a lot. Maybe someone recently was laid off. Maybe it's a stay-at-home mom that's just looking to make a contribution to her family's income. Maybe it's someone that would just like a little extra money on the side to pay for gas and groceries, or to go shopping and buy a nice pair of shoes. Whatever that looks like for them, okay? This is really going to be about tailoring your message to get to the heart of what those people are looking for and why. And then the last category is going to be performance, okay? Whether that's for sports, for a workout, for training for an event like a half marathon or a full marathon. Performance, the category, probably the category that we deal in the least amount, quite honestly, even though our performance products are incredible. Most people come into a relationship, in my experience, and maybe you'll have a different opinion, but for one of these 3 things, okay? Either they're looking for energy, they're looking for weight loss, or they're looking for some extra income, all right? Or maybe all 3. So that's how you make your list. Once you come up with this list and write them down, you guys, and your list is going to change. You're always going to be adding to it. Because you're probably going to start with the people that you're most comfortable getting in touch with. But the other thing that I want you to think about if you're really wanting to get intentional about building this as a business, is who do you know that is on a scale of 1 to 10, an 8, 9, or 10? That maybe it's someone who intimidates you a little bit. Maybe it's someone who's already pretty successful in life. Those people in general have a lot of influence with other people. They're going to have a lot of connections. They're going to also know a lot of people who are looking for these things. So you want to target people for your business that are already the CEOs of their own lives. Okay, that's really a key to reaching the masses, quite honestly. I don't know if there's anything else that you want to add to this section.
No, I think that's great.
Okay.
And I think I'm getting some reports that people are having a hard time seeing.
Yeah, I'll make it a lot bigger here.
Yeah, so we'll use the board. We'll figure out, they're saying there's some resolution issues on the screen too. So.
I can even see with us, we look a little bit fuzzy, so I'm sure. But just think of energy, okay? I'll make it massive, but hopefully clear. You've got energy, you've got weight, and you've got income, okay? And then you've got performance. All right? You can generally find a category for everybody, and if you can't, you put them in energy, okay? That's something that we can all use a little bit more of. As our friend Chris Reed says, I've never heard anyone say, I wish I was more tired and I wish I had less money.
Right. All right, great. Well, I think let's just kind of back it up. Let's just talk the last section. What we're going to finish on, guys, what I think is probably the most important thing that we'll talk about this evening for class 1, and, because what we want you to realize is, okay, you kind of have the big picture in mind, all right, advisor, rookie bonus, you got the success flow chart there, so you got to share with people, all right, that's kind of where we're starting with this. Rebecca just helped you kind of define who do you want to share with. Now, what you need to think about is what do you share with them, all right? So now you know who, what are you going to share with them? That's what we refer to as your story. There's typically 2 versions, a 30-second story and a 2-minute version. We focus on the 30-second story a lot because, quite honestly, when we say we're open for business, a lot of times that means we're bumping into somebody out on the street, an old friend, it's somebody that we reach out to and we share with them very, very quickly. But I will tell you this, and this is very, very important. You want to be a trailer for a movie, okay? You want to be a preview. You literally want to be like, Chris Mason, he's all excited. He's very passionate about what Advocare has already done for he and his family, okay? And he shares that with people, but he shares it with them real quickly. 30 seconds, boom, he's done, all right? And then they want to hear more. They're like, all right, tell me about that. Tell me about that. That's when you plug people into the success system, which we'll talk about in class 2. But what do you share with them for the 30 seconds, okay? And write this down. Literally step 1 is where I was. Okay, step 1 is where you were when you first heard about Advocare. And that doesn't mean I was sitting in front of my computer and this couple named Brian and Rebecca were telling me about Advocare. It doesn't mean you were sitting on your couch. It doesn't mean you're not physically where you were, but where you were in life. And I actually heard somebody refer to this as, kind of your mess is your story. Your mess is your message. Mm-hmm. A lot of times where you were is not necessarily a happy, rosy place. So therefore, you don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this. But like for us, where I was working or I was traveling, 2 to 3 weeks a month away from my family. I was leaving the house before the sun came up, and I was finding it harder and harder to get home by 6:30 or 7 o'clock at night. So I was suffering from time debt. Mm-hmm. That's where I was when Advocare found us.
I was exhausted. I needed a way to feel better, and that was my short story that I would share with people. You know what? This is the best I've felt in 10 years. I was needing a way to keep up with the demands I've been putting on my body, and I found it. I don't know if this is something that you would want to hear more about, but if it is, I would love to share it with you.
Yeah. Step 2 is what did you see? Okay, so when somebody shared this with you or you first heard about Advocare, you saw something that caught your attention, right? And this is very brief. That first, where I was, that's maybe 5 to 10 seconds. What you saw, that's like 5 seconds. And for me, I literally saw this guy. I saw Jason Pinnell living the kind of life that I wanted. He was waking up every Monday morning with his family. He was asking me to go play golf on Thursday afternoon, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I'll be lucky if I'm in Nashville. And if I'm in Nashville, I'll be at the office for 14 hours a day. There's no way I can go play golf on a Thursday afternoon. So I saw a guy leading the kind of life that I wanted to lead. Right. And you saw Brooks come into your class. What you saw was you saw Brooks look like she was full of energy, and she felt better. And that's what Rebecca saw. So then step 3 were what were your results, okay? And this, again, you want to spend 5 to 10 seconds on this. For this, a lot of times this is people that have like a weight loss story, an energy increase. One of the things that I share with people is, the fact that I used to work out at 4:30 in the morning. And, on day 12 of my first 24-day challenge, I worked out at 4:30 in the morning. I spent all day at the office. By the time Brandon went to bed that night and we got him in bed, I was normally ready to hit the couch and call it a day and think about going to bed and getting up and doing it all over again the next day. I went for a jog, all right? I got my second workout of the day, and when normally I would have been exhausted. So that was part of what hit me initially from a results standpoint.
Right. I lost 4 pounds and 3% body fat in 24 days. And I changed nothing about what I was doing other than I started using the products. My workout stayed the same. That was my job. I really ate very similarly to what's recommended for the 24-day challenge, so that was not a big change for me, but using the products was really the variable that made that big of an impact on the results I was getting from the workouts I've been doing for years.
Yeah. And then the fourth part, okay, so it's where you were, what you saw, what were your results, and number four is where are you going? And that's huge, okay? This is the most important part of your 30-second story. This is what's going to catch people's attention. Chris Mason shared his story. I keep mentioning because he's going crazy right now. But he shared his story in front of about 200 people on Thursday night. And when he told people where he was going in terms of not working overtime anymore and spending more time with his family, it caught everybody's attention. It caught everybody's attention. So this is where you need to be able to communicate that to people. Where are you going? Maybe it's an income. Maybe you're going to be making $500 by the end of next month to help it make your car payment. Maybe you're on track to earn $1,000 by the end of March to help make a house payment or to help pay off some debt, or maybe you're saving money so that you can send your kids to private school, or maybe you're looking to keep your spouse home, a stay-at-home spouse. But this is where you want to tell people what Advocare is going to do for you. All right. And where we come on board, when I retired in March of 2012 to do this full time, we told every single person that we knew that we were going to become Diamond distributors, because that's where we knew where we were going with Advocare, and we knew that was what was going to provide us with the kind of life and the quality of life and the freedom that we wanted for the two of us and for our son Brandon. That's what we wanted out of this, and that's where Advocare was taking us, and we spoke it with strength and conviction and passion and enthusiasm and excitement, and when we told people that, they believed us because we believed it in our heart that that's where we were going. And that's what you have to communicate to people. Whatever that goal is for you, wherever Advocare is going to take you, that's what you communicate to folks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think do that.
No, that's great. Your goal of the 30-second story is to let people see your heart, see your excitement, let them know what's happened for you so far. People are the people that are buying you. So know that. People are not looking to buy supplements, okay, but they are looking for hope. And if you can offer them that through your 30-second story, if you can make it relevant to them and help them see that this could be a solution for something that they're looking for, then you're going to be able to introduce a lot of people to the success system and help a lot of people get what they want.
And I'll say this too, practice it, okay? I mean, whatever that looks like for you. I mean, you can tell, I'm a flow chart, I'm a spreadsheet kind of guy. I literally bullet pointed this out, but and I never read it to anybody, but that just helped me prepare. All right, so what that means, maybe you type out a 30-second story. Think about it, type it out. What does 30 seconds look like? Don't ever read it to somebody, but that will help you prepare. Bullet point it, think through it, because it's going to change with every single person you bump into also. You want to have kind of a framework in mind of again, where you were, what you saw, what you did, and where you're going, and that's going to vary. If you're talking to somebody about weight loss or you think it could help them there, I don't share our financial side, right off the bat. I don't share the income opportunity. But what I do share with them are stories of other people that we have coached and we have helped that have lost significant amounts of weight. So I will catch their attention that way. So again, customize it for every single person. Let them know why you're thinking about them. That's important. And practice, practice, practice. Because the more you practice this, it'll just roll off your tongue. When you bump into your neighbor or you bump into somebody at the grocery store and they say, well, what are you doing these days? Oh, well, let me tell you what I'm doing these days.
Right. Yeah.
And so, I can tell people, where we're at now. So anyway, we're going to wrap this up. I want to leave you with one last quick thought. And that's just the thought that honestly, anybody can do this. And what's making me think about that is the fact that here at 9:30, we are doing, or we're not doing, but we have set up a special training call for people that have earned some special recognition on our team, that they are going to be trained by a Nebraska state police officer who became a Diamond distributor at the same time we did. His name is Paul Hazard. He's phenomenal. But literally, the fact I'm just thinking about, here's a state policeman. Here you've got a former, business executive. We've got a dancer. Brooks is a former school teacher. Okay. Chris Reed is a former nurse. Jason Pinnell is a pastor. Angela was a stay-at-home mom. I mean, again, it is all occupations. It's all people from all types of backgrounds. You name it. So literally anybody can do this. There's not one characteristic, one specific thing that defines who's successful and who's not. It's who follows the success flow chart is who's successful. And it doesn't matter what your background is or what you bring to the table, but if you follow the chart, you'll be successful at this. Guys, thank you very much. You're going to.
I have one thing to say.
All right.
Okay, this might get me in trouble, but for those of you who are really serious, I mean really serious about doing Silver Camp and bringing action to it, because as Ryan said, knowledge with action is powerful, and knowledge without action is powerless. You know, if you've maybe been around for a while, and maybe this is even your second or third time seeing some of these trainings, ask yourself if you've put action behind it. So I'm going to challenge you this week between this class and next Sunday's class to put some action behind it by doing this. Who are the top 3 people on your list? Okay, top 3 people that you're thinking of that are, maybe they are your 3 a.m. call in the middle of the night people, and maybe they're not, but they're on your heart for a reason. You're thinking about them. You know why you're thinking about them. Your challenge is to get those 3 people introduced to your mentor into the success system in the next week. If you don't know how to do that, please contact me, please contact Ryan, or contact your direct mentor, and they're going to help you figure out exactly how to do that. So let us know if you're serious. We're going to know it, because you're going to be introducing those 3 people in the next week, and you're going to watch some activities start to play out in your business. Have a great night. Be blessed. We're looking forward to seeing you next Sunday.
All right. Thanks, guys. Recording.